Hi, I'm Claudia Addison, Los Angeles-based spiritual and personal growth consultant, intuitive reader, and biomagnetic therapist, your host here today on the Awareness Forum. As you know, the Awareness Forum is a format of open, intelligent, informative, and as in-depth as time permits, discussions on matters of mind, body, and spirit, metaphysics, and or any of the esoteric sciences. And so in keeping in the flow of our earlier discussions that we've had here on the Awareness Forum, which has been more or less geared towards people who are interested in taking the responsibility for who and what they are, we're going today to continue on with our program, a continuation of our last program, which was herbal medicine and its proper application. And so we have back with us today the very knowledgeable and certainly one of LA's most respected herbalist and iridologist. He is the founder and director of Holistic Health Service here in LA, the very distinguished Dr. Nathan Rabb Jr. Say hello, Dr. Rabb, and welcome back.
Oh, thank you for having me again.
Yeah. I really want to thank you for being back. We had such a tremendous response from our last show that I thought that we would do ourselves and certainly our listening audience or our viewing audience a world of good to have you back and just kind of continue the discussion that we were having the last program. And one of the things one of the questions that continuously came up from viewers that had called in was they wanted to know more about the detoxification program. And we had touched on it, but not as in-depth as we're going to today. So I'd like for you, if you would, to just kind of make us aware of what is detoxification when we're talking the use or application of herbs.
Certainly. Detoxification is the most important aspect or beginning aspect of any program of restoration of health. Anytime you enter into a health building program, you must start with cleansing the tissues. Mm-hmm. It's very difficult to try to build health on a foundation of toxins. And we start with herbs and a certain dietary pattern. And this brings about a squeezing, if you will, of the tissues to squeeze out all of these poisons. And the poisons accumulate over a period of time. For people who have never done a detox, their bodies are seriously laden with toxins. And the toxins load up the different organs and prevent them from functioning properly. What we are trying to accomplish, or what we accomplish in the detoxification process, is an unloading of these poisons, so that the liver, instead of being stagnant with congealed bile, it now releases this bile, which helps with the elimination process because the bile is a natural laxative. The bloodstream is toxic. We have skin problems. We have different things happening in the body from poor blood chemistry. The detoxification process cleanses the blood, cleanses the lymphatic system, cleanses the glands, and this enables all of these organs to function better because the cellular activity is increased. Mm-hmm. The body is now putting out a healthy energy force, and this brings about a consistency throughout the body for all of these organs to work together. Even though we have individual systems, the digestive, eliminative, circulatory, and there are a couple other ones, they all work together in harmony to keep the body well. Okay. Any one of these systems not functioning properly adds a load to another system. If you're not eliminating properly through that system, then you're going to cause problems for the digestive system and the circulatory system. So we must have them all working in harmony. And so detoxing says we will go in with the purging herbs, the cleansing herbs. We will push or force all of these poisons out of the system. The poisons go from the bloodstream into the liver. The liver has got to be healthy so it can scoop them out of the blood. If it's not healthy, what does it do with them? It dumps them right back into the colon through the portal vein. And if the colon can't eliminate them, they make a circular route. They go back into the bloodstream, and now we have a concentration of poisons moving through the body that's not leaving the body. rashes will develop, headaches develop, all manner of things, because some organ of elimination is not eliminating. So detoxing is very important, and the goal is clean these areas, get them to working properly, and then we can unload the poison. Now you're on your way. That's the beginning step.
Okay, now when we're talking, you mentioned using the purging herbs. What are the purging herbs?
In the cleansing area, you have the purgatives, or the herbs that have laxative properties, the alterative properties, which alters the state of the blood. There will be emmenagogues, which help with cleansing the stomach, or some of these are diuretic for the fluids. A lot of different characteristics. These are the kinds of herbs you have to have in a cleansing program, because they cause a purging action. They're not necessarily there for building anything. They're there as a cleansing mechanism, and especially with the blood, because the blood chemistry has to be balanced, so you need alteratives. But see, each herb has different characteristics, this is what makes herbs different from drugs. The drug one ingredient has been isolated, so you have stripped it of everything that keeps it balanced. Now you have one isolated ingredient, which becomes a toxin for the body, whereas the herb will have a diuretic property, a diapretic, alterative, purgative. It can have a lot of different characteristics, and all of these are needed to bring about a cleansing action on the body. And we don't put together harsh programs, because the body needs to have a gentle cleansing. You have to start off, especially if the person is weak or in the senior years, you don't put them on one of these fast flushes. It needs to be something that's gentle, and then they can increase it as the body becomes stronger. The body won't make itself sick. It's what we do that make us sick. So when we start cleansing, we don't want to create more stress. The cleansing programs are to eliminate stress and toxins. And if done properly, this will work. And the only thing that the person has to do at that point is follow instructions. And I shouldn't say only, because sometimes that's difficult.
Really, it is. Okay. So now, what areas of this body temple are addressed in this detox program?
When you detox the body, you're working with from the top of the head to the soles of the feet.
Okay.
See, the blood runs through the body from head to foot, so you got to clean that. Now, the liver is there, as I say, as a main strainer. It picks up all the toxins that the bloodstream brings in. The lungs do a part of the cleansing, because that's where your carbon dioxide and oxygen exchange takes place. They need to be healthy so that you can make this exchange, because if you can't get oxygen into your system, your life is not going to be very rewarding, and you're not going to be around very long. We have to have a good oxygen intake. Then you have to have a clean bloodstream with healthy blood cells to carry this throughout the body, or there's still a problem. So all systems must work real good, but head to toe is what the detox program is supposed to involve, which is why you can't detox using one item, aiming at one section of the body, because the whole body works together. Blood goes from head to foot. It travels through all areas of the body, so when it goes, if it has the right things in it, it will energize every part of the body. It will cleanse every part. The colon, we gotta get all the mucus out. Mucus is the underlying cause of all diseases. It clogs up things. It prevents the proper assimilation of your nutrients. So you strip the mucus, push that out of the system. You get all the toxic waste out. You pull all the things that are stored in the circulatory zone, the lymphatic system, which is part of your immune system. It's got to be clean so it can do its function. So our goal in the programs we use is to address the entire body. And that's why I stress it, even though the person may not, well, I don't want to do it all. Well, if you're going to be successful with this program, you need to cleanse the entire body.
Okay. In our last program, we talked about food, our diet, in conjunction with the various herbs that we're taking during a purification or a detoxation of the body. So what do you suggest that their diet be, along with the herbs that you're taking for this cleansing, this detoxification?
During a cleansing, or for some people, a weight loss program, either way, they all have to start with cleansing.
Okay.
When you're cleansing, it is best and most effective if you follow the cycles of the body instead of trying to go against them. The body operates on cycles, and there's 3 8-hour cycles, which make up a 24-hour day.
Okay.
From 4 a.m. to noon, if you consume fruits and liquids, either fruit, vegetable juices, fruit juices, and never vegetables and fruits in the same time frame. But if you do this, the body has a lot of energy in the morning because fruits don't digest in the stomach. They stay a half hour. In the case of bananas or dried fruit, 45 minutes. Then they shift down to the small intestine. That's where they digest. So you get energy from them within a half hour to 45 minutes. Now, if you put in cooked food, it stays in the stomach for 5, 6 hours trying to digest. So you have a twofold problem here. Number one, you're expending energy to digest this food. So you're using up some of the energy that you came into the morning with. Also, it takes you 6, 7 hours before you get anything from that, if in fact what you ate has any energy for you.
Okay.
So with fruit, you get energy in 45 minutes to an hour, and you don't expend a lot. With the cooked food, you expend a lot, and sometimes you get nothing. If you get anything, it's 6, 7 hours later. So this is why it's so important to follow that part of that's the elimination cycle from 4 to noon.
Okay.
From noon to 8 p.m. is our appropriation cycle. That's when we take in the foods that are really going to build and sustain us. Vegetables, one concentrated food, 80-20 mix, 80% raw, 20% cooked. Brown rice in a meal, or a baked potato, or some dried beans, or lentils. It's not and, it's or.
Okay.
One concentrated food per meal. And meat is not indicated in any detoxification program. No flesh. People often say, well, I don't eat meat, and they're speaking of red meat. Unless somebody changed the rules yesterday, chicken is meat, fish is still meat. So that's what we do up till 8 at night. We should eat no solid foods after 8 p.m. From 8 p.m. till 4 a.m. is the assimilation cycle. That's when the body assimilates what you took in during the appropriation cycle. And if you eat during that period, you interfere with that cycle. And this is what most people do. We interfere with the preceding or following cycle, so the body can't function properly. And over a period of time, this causes a breakdown and disease conditions that come about in the body.
Okay, now, if a person is not aware of proper food combining, all right, and they are taking the herbs for detoxification, but they're not properly combining the food, does that slow down the process of detoxification, or how
Yes,
does it interfere?
the body will detox based on the herbs, but there won't be as a complete cleansing, because when you don't combine properly, they don't digest properly, which means they don't eliminate properly. And what you're trying to do is assist the body in cleansing. If you're putting in the wrong things, you don't assist, you hamper. So yes, you do slow up the process and it becomes less effective. And if you want a program to be real effective and to get this new energy from unloading these poisons, then you must follow the program. You can't keep cheating and expect it to work right.
Okay. And what is the length of time for a detox? What is the recommended length of time for a detoxification program?
It depends on the person and what we're trying to accomplish. If we're doing a general detox for a person who wants to work on prevention, 30 days of diligence to a program and adhering to a program should put them well on the way to letting the food be the medicine. If the person has a degenerative condition, it will take longer because they have something that they have to change, a certain chemistry in the body. So it's an individual thing. You have to look at each person individually. What is it we're trying to accomplish? What do we need to correct? And base it that way. So you can't tell everybody 30 days is all you got to cleanse. And most people are in a hurry to get back to what they were doing before they came to start the detox, and you have to get them through that part. Look at this as something positive that's going to make some positive changes in your life, not worry about how quick can you get back to the destructive processes.
Okay, so we are talking actually a lifestyle change as opposed to just...
And it's transitional diets that we're talking about here.
Okay.
If it's difficult for you to go cold turkey from being a person that's eating a lot of protein and starches and combine them in the same meal to a more of a vegetable, grain, fruit diet, then we drop off one thing at a time so that the body doesn't go through shock. The programs are not designed to create stress. They're designed to remove stress. But the person has to go through some attitude changes also. See, when you clean up the body, a magnificent thing happens. The mind gets clean, and you start to think better. but it's difficult to think when there's a lot of poisons in your brain, and they will certainly go there if they're in other parts of your body.
Okay, now, because we are talking holistic here, me being the metaphysician that I am, I cannot get around the importance of one's attitude before, during, and after this detox program. So I'd like to know, in your opinion, what is the overall approach mentally that one must have to kind of maintain and sustain a decent balance in this body temple, with or without the detox program? How important is that attitude?
Attitude is 97% of everything you do.
Okay.
If you approach this detox program with a positive attitude that this is going to help you, and you will do it and you won't fret over it. People who sit, the ones I counsel, I can tell who's going to use the program properly and who isn't. Some are fidgeting, someone brings them, number one. They sit there and they fidget, and I'm hungry, I got to get something to eat, and they're hardly listening to you. The other person is listening, and they're doing it for this person. Mm-hmm. People who come and sit and listen attentively and want to make sure that they have the instructions properly, and I'm going to do this because I'm tired of the way I am. I'm going to do this. They have a whole different outlook. They're looking forward to doing it. It's a whole positive outlook. But when you have negatives and the only thing you're concerned about is how long do I have to do this? You see, I can tell who's going to do well and who isn't in most cases. And it's not 100%. But if you have a positive attitude and a positive approach and look at it as something that is viable and real, then you'll be successful because you're going to do what's necessary
to do. Okay, now also one of the questions that came up too was whether or not you suggest that they become involved in some type of meditation, some type of quiet time during this cleansing process, whether or not you suggest a specific exercise program. What else do you suggest to go along with this detox program physically?
Physically, you need to do something that elevates the vascular system. And I don't mean going to a gym and pumping iron and all this madness. I'm talking about walking, cycling, swimming. You need to do some exercise. The lymphatics move through the body by exercising of the muscles. There's no pump for the lymphatic system. Deep breathing moves lymphatics. Gentle bouncing on a trampoline, which we call lymphosizing, that helps to move lymphatics. And the lymphatics untrap trapped blood proteins, which cause inflammation. When you have pain in an area, it's trapped blood proteins that have attracted a lot of fluid, and they've flooded the interstitial spaces around the cells. The cells can't get oxygen, so they go through an altered state. They don't produce the electrical energy, and the body becomes sick in that area. To get this trapped protein back into the circulatory system, we have to use the lymphatic system to pull them out. When the blood proteins leave, the fluid leaves. It follows them. Their purpose is to keep a lot of fluid in the circulatory system. So they attract fluid. Wherever they are, fluid will be also. Get them out of the spaces around the cells, oxygen can get back in that area, healing comes forth. The energy is there again. So there always has to be a balance in the body. This is what we're working for, balance. Okay. And people often say, I eat a balanced meal, and when you look at what they eat, they're eating things that will not digest together. So how can that be balanced? We've been miseducated. It's time to be educated properly so that we can prosper in good health and not just be more clients for the hospital system.
Okay, now again, I had asked earlier about meditation. I had read somewhere that most of our chronic illnesses are stress induced, and that is why I asked about the importance of some type of quiet time, some type of meditation, whether or not that is implemented, suggested in your program.
Yeah, I meant to answer that in the previous, but sometimes you
we've got time.
You draw out there. Meditation is very important because it's essential that you connect to your Creator. this is a real thing. It's not an abstract. It's not something we just hear about, read about, and toss aside. When you are connected and your body is cleansed, you have a much higher spiritual or thought awareness. And there's got to be proper rest. There's got to be time for yourself to get into yourself. Because until you know who you are and know from whence you've come, you don't really know what to do for yourself. You don't know how you got where you are. And until you know that where you are is a bad place to be, you're not really going to try to correct it. So meditation is very important. It's a time when you let the body systems are supposed to come to a rest almost. I mean, you're still functioning. See, that's why you couldn't meditate all the time, because your body functions get so, if they slow down too long, then you're going to start trapping proteins, and you can sit 24 hours in a place and breathe shallowly and actually die. But you get quiet when you meditate so that you can connect. You can hear the voice coming back as you know, things come into your psychic. It's healthy to do that. It's very healthy to meditate.
Regardless of.
Regardless.
Yeah. I had one lady to ask me, she says, well, you know, I was listening to Dr. Rabb talk about his detoxification program, and I was just wondering whether I could go on this program for a while and then get off of it for a while and go back on to a while. And she was wondering just how beneficial that would be.
If you stay on a program for, you know, some period of time, it will start things happening in your body. Now, when she gets off, it depends on what does she do at that point. Does she go back to eating all the junk that she can find, or does she continue on a healthy eating program? The body will continue to eliminate toxins if you keep putting healthy things in your body. And now if she's going to go back to doing all of the other things, then you will get back to the point where you were when you started originally. But it's always good to do at least a 30-day program a couple times a year, just for prevention. If you're sick, you may have to do it a little longer than that. But the food should be the medicine at any rate. We got to get to correcting the eating problems.
So we are talking consistent, being consistent.
Yeah,
until
30 days is not a long period of time for doing something with your body. Now, if you are hanging from a cliff, 30 days is a long period of time.
Okay.
But as I always tell people, if there's anything that you can't do without for a 30-day period other than breathing or something like that, then you have a problem. Because why wait until some doctor tells you, okay, I got to take you off of this because you can't have this? And that means ever. And we're talking a cessation of something for 30 days to allow your body to cleanse and heal. I'm not advocating everybody be a vegetarian at this point. That's what I choose to be because I know the benefits. But if you will refrain from the consumption of flesh for a 30-day period and eat healthy, what will happen to your body during that period will amaze you. And at that point, you will probably not want to go back to the destructive processes.
Yeah.
So just try it.
Yeah, that's basically what happened to me. It was in trying it, you know, and in discovering just how good I felt. It was like, yeah, okay, so I can adopt this, you know. The other thing that I want to touch on too, which is probably a little to the left of the detoxification program, and as far as I know, could be a part of it. We're hearing so much about ginkgo biloba, and is this an herbal? Is this involved in your detoxification program? And if not, that's okay. I'd like to hear a little bit about.
Yeah,
this
ginkgo is not in the detox program so much, but ginkgo is a very good product for improving circulation. It has a lot of benefit for retardation of the aging process. It helps prevent blood clots, so when you don't have clots, you don't have strokes. That in itself is very beneficial for most. It helps with the diabetic problem. It helps with anything to do with the vascular system. It also helps with bronchial congestion. So it's beneficial for asthmatics. It's beneficial for people with emphysema, with any respiratory disorders. And it's because it improves the circulation, which allows the blood with the oxygen to get throughout the body. The capillaries in the legs get clogged a lot, the small capillaries. So we get the cold hands, cold feet, poor circulation, pain in the calf muscles from walking a little bit, and that's just a circulatory problem. Ginkgo helps to improve those. And it's not really known whether it is a vasodilator or not. It's not really said to be a vasodilator, but it makes the blood go down there, so it does open up the circulatory passages. It creates an area for this blood to move in, and you see the difference within reasonably short periods of time. So it's an excellent product, even though it may not be used in a detox program, because at that point you're cleansing more or less the toxins from the eliminative organs, and to get into the circulatory zone to clean that up, which you must do also, because you got to have that freeway open for so that the water, the blood, and what can carry the nutrients. It's excellent for improving circulation for various reasons, from impotence to senility to Alzheimer's, strokes, whatever, poor memory, poor recall. It helps with so many things. It's not a panacea, but it just does a lot.
It does a lot. And does one have to be adhering to a certain lifestyle?
It's always good if you're practicing good health habits, things work better. If your body is cleansed, things work better.
Okay, that makes sense. Well, we're just about out of time, Dr. Rapp Jr. I thank you so much again for coming and sharing with us. You're such a knowledgeable individual. And we'll have to do this again. Okay?
Of course, anytime.
Because I do know that there is a follow-up to this. We have to go into prevention. And so we'll do that the next time around. Okay, how's that?
Sounds
good. And for you, my listening audience, I would like to say, you know, the universe gives us, moment by moment, the opportunity to get in touch with who we are, what we are, and certainly what we can do to maintain and sustain this body temple and to keep it in balance, and certainly to grow and unfold spiritually. So my message to you is take the time to get involved daily. And until the next time, I would like to say to all of you, stay centered.